do this now, so just in case you need to control, you can actually...
Wrote a letter just to see what your life it looks like now.
So Gabby's here because of back issues, so we're going to do a physical exam today. Do some x-rays to kind of confirm that.
Wrote a letter just to see what your life it looks like now.
Hello, I'm Susan Silk. I'm a career counselor at the Cheshire Career Center. Thank you for tuning in to Where Are They Now? A new show featuring past Cheshire Career Center graduates to see what they are doing now and how did they get there. Today we are featuring a past student who found a career in broadcasting, and his name is Jared Goodell. Welcome, Jared.
Thank you.
Welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Okay, we're going to start by asking a few questions, and I'd like to start finding out from you how this all began. When did the interest of broadcasting begin in your life?
Well, I had always been fascinated with the idea of radio and television, and that kind of came to a head in 8th grade when we had to complete a academic presentation as sort of the last big project of being in middle school. And I chose to do mine on radio, and you know, I completed a big presentation board on the history of radio and how it works and how the industry works. And then we, you know, all the students brought those presentations to the gymnasium, and there was a big academic fair, and you know, parents came in, the community came in, and we, you know, told people about what we were interested in. And one of the people who I happened to tell about radio was a man who was involved in the workings of what was going to be a local community radio station in my community, and he said, you know, we'd love to have you involved, and I said, great. You know, so I went home that night, I called my grandmother and said, you know, I need a little mixer, I need a microphone so that I can make a show for this radio station. And you know, she got me a microphone, she got me a mixer, and I started recording, and you know, I started, you know, airing this show every Saturday on this radio station. So
this began as early as middle school,
yeah,
a real interest in this. Now, when you got to Keene High School, I take it that you must have heard that we had a new program coming related to this in the TV broadcasting class. And so how did you become involved with the class at the Cheshire Career Center?
Well, actually, you know, I hadn't really heard about, you know, the program here at Keene High School. It was new that year, and there wasn't really much talk about it. But I was involved on my own in announcing the basketball games, and I happened to one day run into this guy with a beard in the hallway, and we just created a conversation.
And who was that?
Mr. Galen Trinkle was his name. And he was, you know, he is the guy that created this program and was teaching it, and he had been in the industry before.
I heard that he has quite a past of coming in and sharing all his expertise.
He does, he does. So, you know, we started a conversation, and he had heard about what I was doing and asked me if I wanted to be involved. And although I wasn't a student, you know, the answer was yes. You know, I want to be involved in what you're doing. And so the next day, you know, we started working on projects, you know, there, and we still, you know, even after leaving high school, we still have an active relationship.
Oh, that's great. So you graduated from the high school, and on you went with your life. So I'd like to know a little bit about what did you do after you left Keene High to pursue this passion?
Well, you know, there's the entertainment business is what I really wanted to be in, and I guess there's no real preparation for that in high school. I mean, how many kids want to be in that business? So there was a sense of maybe that's just a dream. Maybe I have to pursue more of a standard general career.
A real job.
Right. But I had an opportunity to go to New York City and work for a professional drag queen, and I pursued that. And it was great. I did that for about 8 months, and I traveled to East Coast, and I was able to you know, meet some people. I was able to get into the entertainment industry. You know, I was on the set of Tyra Banks one day. You know, so there was certainly, you know, many things just in that exposed me to the industry that I was fascinated with.
And then I take it that you're back in Keene. So were you able to find a job related to that? And let's go right up to the current, what you're doing currently, hopefully related to that industry.
Yeah, well,
so what
I came home and there wasn't really an opening for me, but I still had my eye on the ball of what I wanted to do. So I got a job with Target, in the retail store, and I gave a good year there, and that was sort of the segue into what I really want to do. And I don't regret that experience at all, because it gave me a good sense of business. And in any business, you need a sense of business. But after leaving Target, I was able to pursue a career with the local radio group, Monadnock Radio Group, who owns all the radio stations in the community. And I was able to first start as a contractor with them. So I did work as needed with them, which evolved then into a more serious career in sales and on the business side and production as well.
So I do believe now we have some footage of you actually working at your job at Monadnock Radio Group. That's the name of it? Yeah,
Monadnock Radio Group. This is, we just a few months ago were able to launch a new show, and this is what that show is.
Well, that's great.
This is the Dean Prentice Show. Boston Sports Talk coming to you from Keene. Get in on the show by calling 855-355-1220.
I live there. That's my home.
I like the things you say on the radio. I like the way you talk, whether I agree or disagree.
Or text ESPN and your comments to 63566. Here he is.
855-355-1220, the number to call. Dean Talks Boston with you here until 6 o'clock. Dean Prentice, Josh Dutilli riding shotgun. Welcoming your phone calls at 855-355-1220. Lots to talk about. Big weekend in sports. I mean, we were fired up all weekend long. Told the wife couldn't do anything. Had to lay in bed or lay on the couch and watch sports. No honey-do list. Couldn't do a thing.
No.
Have to do. What do you mean you have to watch? I have to watch the game, honey. It's part of my job. It's what I do. So I had the weekend off. I was very lazy and did nothing but watch sports. Yesterday, huge day. We had the Red Sox, the Bruins, the Celtics, the race, the golf.
A Tiger comeback. I mean, you couldn't ask for more.
I mean, the Saints scandal was all over the place last night. The bounty system, as they call it. So, monster weekend in sports here in this area, particularly in the Boston area, which is what we want to focus on today.
You all know what you have to do. No one, and I mean no one, comes into our house and pushes us around. It's your game. Let's do it.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Alumni Field as the Keene Blackbirds host the Brattleboro Colonels for Family Night and Fireworks with the Blackbirds.
Well, that is exciting footage. Jared, my first impression is you really enjoy doing this, don't you?
I do. It's also fun, and it's something that maybe I didn't think would ever be something that I'd be able to live. It's kind of was the childhood dream, as I said, and there wasn't really taught to me, but it was something that I was so interested in, and it's a dream. It's a dream come true, really. To actually make a living on something that you're passionate about is so important, and you're actually living the dream. Yeah. Yeah, and I have to admit, your voice, I think I could sit in front of you, not see your face, and your voice is known in the Keene community. And I think that's pretty neat that you have a trademark with your voice. So congratulations, and I really see you going very far in this industry. Now, one very important question at the end. I want you to think for a minute, and I want you to look out in our community of all our future graduates who may have the same dream as you have of going into this industry. So what would be some advice that you would give some of these students? What you went through, so let's hear a little bit of your advice. Well, I guess, follow the dream. If you have something that you're interested in, that you like to do, that you don't really think that there's a future for, or that you don't think you have support for, there really is a job for everybody. Even if it's dog walking, you can make a career out of it. So follow the dream and press on. Just keep trying for it. And even if you don't get it, tomorrow, you know, try to get it the following day. You know, keep fighting for what you want.
Did you ever end up doing some work and not get paid for it, and was it worth it? So would you recommend possibly doing some volunteering?
Definitely. I mean, in this business in particular, and I'm sure this applies to many businesses, the way you get a job is by being known, and so you have to get known first, and you're probably going to have to create a lot of opportunity for yourself. You're going to have to do something that hasn't been done yet. You're going to have to do free work, like you said, so that you can get known, and so people know you and people want you then.
Okay. Where do you see yourself down the road in the future?
Well, you know, something that I didn't really believe in was school, was, you know, college, post-secondary school. And that's something that, you know, it keeps popping into my head is, you know, maybe you should try some schooling, you know, to get an education on this field. And that wasn't something that I really believed in, and I don't regret not doing that right out of high school. I think the path that I took was right for me. But I think that probably in the future, in the next couple of years, that college is going to be in my future, which will be another stepping stone to getting to the next step.
Which is?
I don't know.
Could you see yourself staying in Keene, or do you think you'd like to go to a larger market?
You know, I love Keene, so you know, Keene could be a possibility, but I guess I couldn't answer that question because, you know, you never know. You never know what the next year is going to hold. You never know what the next 6 months is going to hold. So I love Keene, and I'd love to stay here. You know, today I'd love to stay here for the rest of my life, but tomorrow could present a new opportunity. And that's another piece of advice is don't dwell in what you have now. You know, just know that what you have now is great. This is a stepping stone, and another opportunity is going to come.
Okay. Well, thank you. Your being here is priceless, and I think your input will be thought. A lot of students will listen to what you say, and you're going to make a difference. So thank you very much for joining us today.
Thank you.
And keep us informed as you go through your journey. Come back and join us. So thank you very much.
I will do that.
Well, this concludes the show for today. So thank you for joining us. And until next time, find your passion, work hard, and anything is possible. Goodbye.